How you doing, guys and gals? This is Doug Wilson from Yellow Hawk Custom Kydex and gear and knives and such. I'm out here in my little slice of heaven in Pennsylvania outside, and I'm just out here playing with 3 good knives. All right, so let me show you what we got here. All right, on the left here we got the Delta Whiskey Backcountry. In the middle, the new system that I designed for Chris Tanner for his Jessica X. And the Pete Kohler Delta Whiskey Backcountry Fighter version. Let me show you these knives real quick. All right, here's the first one. This is the original design of the Delta Whiskey Backcountry. I designed it. Mike Wallace builds it. CPM 3V. All right, the first one. Here's the Jessica X. Everybody knows what that looks like. Big behemoth. All right, and the Delta Whiskey Backcountry Fighter version by Pete Kohler at Dark Timber Custom Knives. W2 steel. Okay, guys. So if you stick around, we're going to play with these knives. We'll be back in a minute. How you doing, guys and gals? It's Doug Wilson from Yellow Hawk Custom Kydex and gear and knives. I got 3 knives out here in my area, out on my little chunk of my little slice of heaven here in Pennsylvania. I got the Jessica X from Chris Tanner, and the new Sheath that I made for Chris. He asked me to come up with something badass that he could EDC this thing with in the woods, okay, in the bush. So I came up with a decent system for him. Got a Hawk Light assembly on it. Half-inch ferro rod holder. 2 different baldric carries, a horizontal and a vertical. On the back of the sheath, we got the shore up plate for the tabby dangler, a molly lock clip in the middle, and a full-size compass. This is invaluable. A full-size compass. I tell you, even a mini compass like this on a sheath is always a good idea. All right. So I'm just going to play with these knives and show you the baldric systems. All right, so this is a vertical baldric carry. You can also wear it in a horizontal baldric carry. This is a Beach and Tactical sling from Jacob Peterson in Cryptek Typhon. All right. This is my preferred method of carrying baldric, okay? I like the horizontal. It's just, to me, it's just more comfortable, okay? It's more stable, all right? Damn mosquitoes are out already. All right, so we're going to do some batoning with the Jessica X. Jessica X versus some seasoned oak. All right. Nice. Does very well. Do a couple notches. log cabin notch. There we go. Not too bad. Log cabin notch. Let's do a trigger notch. Now these are all notches that you would use in snares and traps. Various snares and traps use both of these notches. There we go. Jessica X. I like it. I'm not a big knife fan, you know, a huge knife fan, but I tell you, there's a lot of reviews of this knife on YouTube already. I just wanted to bring it out, kick it around. Chris asked me to put it on a video, so that's what I'm doing. There's the Prepared Mind 101 symbol there with it says designed by Chris Tanner. It's a comfortable knife. I like the handle. I like that choke up choil. All right, Jessica X. Wait for it. Oh man, I tell you. Okay, so I'm tromping through the bush, and let's say I want to switch it over to vertical baldric carry. Just undo the sling from this D-ring here, let it fall down, clip it into this D-ring here, and you got vertical baldric carry. Alright, let's take this one off, put on the Delta Whiskey Backcountry. This is the Delta Whiskey Backcountry and the system that I designed for it. This is my personal knife, okay? This is probably the one that's going to be going through the gauntlet, this very knife right here. So we just haven't set up a date or a time for me to send it in and have it go through the gauntlet. I know they're backed up with knives right now, so rather than give them my knife and they got it for 8 months, I want to make it try to make it a little quicker and do it at a time when they're not so inundated with knives. All right. So there's the vertical baldric carry for the Delta Whiskey Backcountry, CPM 3V, Mike Wallace at Wallace Edged Tools. That's the maker of this knife. I designed it. Mike Wallace builds it. It's a beautiful knife, completely high-end, top shelf. Doesn't get much better than this as far as fit and finish. Choke up choil. It's got a nice generous thumb ramp. This jimping is non-aggressive. The edges are rounded, okay? They're chamfered, so that it's very comfortable on your thumb, okay? And the reason I put that thumb ramp on there is so you can use that choke up choil more effectively, okay? It gives you more leverage for, you know, let me grab, you know, sharpening sticks, whatever, making a spear. All right, improvised pig sticker, punji sticks, whatever. Okay. All right, let's do a little batoning with this guy. Where the hell did I put my baton? I don't know what the hell I did with it. Now here it is. Chewing the hell out of that baton. But that's what a knife spine will do to your baton. Okay, this has got a modified saber grind. You can do a full flat as well. However, this modified saber grind and a full flat grind, there's not much difference to these two grinds. Okay? It's just how far up you take the grind, that's all. But there's not a whole lot of difference between this and a full flat grind. And it batons wood like a dream. I've never had any problems with it. Never had a piece of wood where it got stuck in it or whatever. Do some notching. Another log cabin notch with the Delta whiskey. Really bites in there well. This CPM 3V is extremely tough and extremely wear resistant metal. More so than any other forgeable steel. You know, it's just, I'll tell you, I love this steel. It does a great job in a high-end knife like this. There. All right, log cabin notch. Not too bad, not too shabby. All right. Let's do a slanted notch now. I'm running out of stick here. Actually, I should be working from this end. There we go. If I'm not careful, I'll slice through my wrist. This thing's very sharp. All right. There's a notch like you would find in a figure 4 deadfall. All right, I tell you, I really love this knife. Really love it. Chops well. It's got sufficient weight behind it, even though it's CPM 3V, which is a little lighter. I tell you, CPM 3V is not much lighter than 01 or 1095 or any of those other steels, knife per knife. You know, knife for knife. It's not that much lighter, okay? Maybe an ounce or two, if that. All right. Delta Whiskey Backcountry. G10 scales, pass-through compression pins, bow drill divot, and yes, you can use the bow drill divot while the sheath is still on the knife. Okay? All you have to do is ask me to design it that way, and I will. Usually I do it anyway. So there it is. Let's reconfigure this for vertical baldric. Alright, there you go. No muss, no fuss. Real easy. Field expedient baldric carry. Alright, let's take this puppy off. Show you the peak Kohler. Alright. This is the peak Kohler Delta Whiskey Backcountry Fighter version. W2 steel. I tell you, it looks a lot different than my original design, but I gave Pete carte blanche on modifying it to be a fighter. Still got a little bit of a belly there, choke up choil, California spalted buckeye, scales. Love those hammer dimples. And I tell you, this thing's a workhorse. It's a workhorse. It'll baton, it'll do everything actually. 3/16 inch thick. I tell you, I didn't want them with real thick steel, okay? I don't like really thick steel on my knives generally, because a thinner steel will do you just fine. It's not as heavy. You can get a lot more finesse out of the blade, a lot more smaller task ability out of the blade, even though it's a bigger blade. So I try to keep all the knives I design in the thinner stock range, okay? 5/32, 3/16, you know, things like that. And my philosophy is, a knife is a knife. It cuts. That's what it's for. No matter how much you pay for it, no matter how much you coddle it, no matter how much you grease it down and put it in a nice sheath, it's still a knife and it cuts. That's what they do. So even a high-end knife like this, it's a knife and it cuts. That's what you use it for. So to that end, I don't really care what the finish of my knife looks like, because it's a knife. It's for cutting. It's for working. It's for doing chores out in the bush. So I'm not real concerned with how the finish is on my knife. It's a knife, you know? All right, guys. So that's it. This is Doug Wilson, Yellow Hawk Custom Kydex. Thanks for joining me. Just a good look at 3 really nice knives. I'll see you on the next video.